Hi, I just wanted to share something that's a little bit related to minimalism, as it's related to purchases, saving money, and enjoying the moment. And I just bought this awesome panini in this gorgeous cafe over there. And what I wanted to share is to really savor it while you're actually having it. Maybe even find a spot to sit down and take your time savoring every bite and every zip in the golden sunlight. Of course, watching the airplanes go by, for example. Of course, which has, just as I was trying to film it, decided to hide behind the clouds, but it was so beautiful. And I was thinking, do it, if you're gonna buy something, do it when you actually have the time to really enjoy it, so that almost the memory lasts you longer, so that next time you feel tempted to buy something, you feel like, oh, I only just had something, even if it's already a bit of a while ago, because, you know, the memory lasts you longer if you are really present in the moment and actually really enjoy, really pay attention to what you're doing and taste all the flavors deeply. So I didn't rush through it as I normally might have done, and would have been, I don't want to say greedy because it sounds mean, but I would have been really like, try to eat it as soon as possible because it's so yummy. Of course I didn't want it to go cold, but it still feels really warm, and I'm anticipating having more bites. And this cloud might give you an idea how beautiful the light might have been just a bit ago. It's still hiding away. That might be the downside to not filming straight away, but I just wanted to savor this. So that it becomes a conscious choice, and you know, an every once in a while thing, not an all the time buying this or that, or needing to have this and this and this. So there's actually this money saving tip I invented that I'm trying out. So once I know how it works, like not how it works, whether it works and how well it works for me, then I'll be able to share it with you guys. And this is sort of part of it. It's part of Hygge. It's part of the whole mindfulness thing that everybody talks about nowadays. Which I feel like when we say it and when we actually do it are two different things. Like, it doesn't have to be a kind of up in the clouds, very interesting concept. It could just be you paying attention to what you're doing and really doing something to doing that thing. And not being distracted with everything else. It doesn't have to be, you know, like, you don't have to be a Buddhist monk to just enjoy your time and really savor this moment and the anticipation of biting into this. And by the way, it's yummy. I had a bite, but I didn't eat the whole thing straight away, like, so that's how I know. In case you're wondering, did you really bite that, or is that fake? You know, we don't always, and it doesn't have to be like every lunch break. Like, we can take something, make something at home, you can take it with you to work and then eat that thing, and meanwhile save money. And you know, you don't have to be stressed out like, oh my god, what am I gonna eat and how can I eat fast enough during this break, because in some jobs, and many jobs, you don't get a long enough break to like go to the store and get something and eat it. You can either get something or you can eat something depending on where it's located, etc. But I also don't want to talk too much because I want it to be warm when I enjoy it. But taking a little bit of a time and just being reasonable about it, that's really the main purpose of this little mindfulness exercise, if you will. I don't consider myself to be into mindfulness, but the whole Hygge thing is awesome, and I feel like part of that is to have the time to take your time sometimes, you know. work life isn't always under our control in that sense, that we can dictate how fast-paced it needs to be, but we can make our choices as to what we want to do with our lives, where we want to work, and we can, you know, at least balance that out in our free time. To just, that used to be normal, and in some countries it isn't a thing anymore to just be doing something, which we call doing nothing. Just be doing whatever it is you're doing, rather than worrying about whether that's enough or fast enough or productive enough. In the past we would say jokingly, like in Germany when we were younger, die Spannung steigt, the tension is rising. It was a bit of an ironic and funny commentary, but the tension is rising as to what this actually looks like. In case you wanted to see, here you go, so yummy. It's a panini with artichoke, grilled artichoke and grilled peppers, which I asked them for the specific one because they didn't have the combination, and so I know to do it. Like a little bit extra, but it's like an investment in your well-being if you can take your time, because it really reduces stress. Like, of course you don't need to be eating something for that, but this is the exception. But when you make the exception and really enjoy it enough so that you don't need the exception all the time, every day. Oh, the golden light I was talking about. Here you are. Wait, that looks like Gandalf return. Starting to become visible once again in the background on top of those trees. Excuse the shakiness, it wouldn't zoom because of the panini flower on my hand. Here you are. Hopefully it'll come out a little bit more. It's looking promising that I can show you the beautiful light again. But either way, it's nice to sit here. Of course we don't always have the time to do everything we want to do all the time, just like, but you know, the right balance is great, just to balance out the stress. We're balancing each other out perfectly, which I actually, to be honest, don't know if we do, because I kind of asked for no rocket and no pesto, so I don't know what it would taste like if they were in here, because it was my own invention. But anyway, I cheated a little bit. I couldn't keep it inside, I had to tell you the truth. There could be a greater perfection out there, who knows, but this is exactly about the opposite of perfection. I'm not feeling like you have to be perfect all the time, but simply getting some time to simply be. Be you, be who you are. This is what we used to do when we were younger, when we were children. This was normal. I don't know if it's the times, how the times were back then, or if it's because we were younger as people, which I feel like we were younger as people, but still, oh, here you go, there you have it, the sun is back. This is what I meant, this is what I wanted to film, and it's feeling lovely and warm in spite of it being autumn, and all the golden colors are coming out much more right now, like nicely. No offense to the shade. But all the beautiful colors of the different colors of all the leaves in the autumn is just so lovely. And then we have the glittering grass right here. This glitters in the sunlight as though there was still some rain on it left, which doesn't look like it is. One more wide angle shot. Da-da. Even the clouds look like in paintings sometimes, so pretty. And the lovely birdies singing. That's what I mean, even to take the time to just pay attention to things like this. We don't even do that anymore. We are so caught up in the hustle and bustle of what we call life, but really it's just, I don't know, it's stressful life or something. Oh, there you go, there you have it. Hiding for the second time. Ooh, did you see it has 3 tiers of bread? I hadn't even realized that. So it makes it more balanced out price-wise, that they're actually giving me 3 tiers of bread instead of 2. Then I dissect, like, how much did this one tomato cost? How much did this pepper cost? But when you want to be thinking about money, then that balances it out a little bit more. And of course, if I wasn't filming as a new thought, then this would be even more of an art of being in the moment, you know, tech free and all. But I just want you guys to have the chance to be part of this, and maybe it can make you think, or maybe you took something away from this, which I do sure hope. And I wanted to share another thought, and that is that the whole mindfulness thing, like, to me, I take it from a very practical, real sort of daily life angle, rather than, like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a Buddhist monk, like I said, it doesn't have to be something that seems really out there, or really like a concept that seems hard to achieve, or that you're only trying to follow for the sake of trying to follow the concept. And maybe you think that you are somebody. Why walk this loudly when somebody wants to film? Well, there's an opening shot in Hygge in the cartoon series. Oh, great! The German cartoon series where basically the clouds are visible and they look so soft, like, I don't know, sheep wool, where sheep jumps into them. I think it's the in the trailer or something, that the clouds are looking exactly that. Bauschig, as we say, like, so big and soft and fluffy, like you could kind of make a bed out of them if you could make a bed out of clouds, which is pretty. But that only on the side, but I don't have a right word for it, that because I don't want it to sound like I'm pushing away people who are into mindfulness or into following this concept. But, you know, it could be something, you know, that speaks very much to a Christian or a Muslim. It doesn't have to be Buddhist, or it doesn't have to be so different out there, and because I don't know, I don't have a good word for that. But maybe very out there, a little bit cuckoo, I don't know. In not much seriousness, but, you know, this is something we all experienced when we were younger, during our childhood, and it's something we all know from back then. It isn't, so it doesn't, you don't have to be like a, I don't know, mindfulness master or some monk or somebody just with special abilities to be in the moment, or who's always zen and whatever. I feel like what I take away from that, and the angle from which I take this theme, is that you know, you can be in the moment in your daily life, and you can utilize in your daily life to balance out your time. It doesn't have to be meditation or something. It could just be really paying attention to what you're doing and really doing what you're doing. Sounds simple, and also we've heard it all before, but when you actually do it, it comes so natural. It's something that comes very natural, is maybe a good way of saying it, to a human being, because this is what we are. Imagine we had no pressure of civilization or anything. You know, if we had to build our own house in the woods there, or look after the cattle, of course these are things that needed to be done, but you don't have to have a schedule of it has to be done by 5 o'clock or something. It wouldn't, you could still really do what you were doing, and in a way it makes you feel good enough that you're enough to do that thing, and you don't have to be somebody or something different, something, you know, you don't have to be different in order to accomplish that task. I hope that's making sense to you guys. And now I will savor and eat the rest of this delicious panini before it goes cold. But doesn't it make so much sense? People would also get done what they needed to get done. Maybe the tasks of what they needed to get done were less, but at the same time, you know, could you just go and build a house for yourself? Like, a lot of people will say no because they're not builders. So it's not like they weren't challenging, but it's nice if you can do it with time to really do them. Be awesome. And if, you know, whatever society doesn't allow us to, so to speak, maybe we as people need to be the ones to balance that out and really reclaim that right for ourselves. To take that time, because that means to not be stressed unnecessarily, and that in turn affects our health, and we have a right to good health. Like we shouldn't, I don't know, allow ourselves to be cheated out of that so much, if possible. I mean, should is a word of complication, but ideally, if we can, I feel like we have been cheated out of this, our own health, by society a little bit, or by whomever. What do you want? Because society is us, but the state, what do you do? What do you call it? Or maybe the era. We always say the world has become faster, but also we are part of this world, and we do have a great input as to what we allow into our lives and how, and what we don't, even when there's things that aren't under our own control, which is a pity, but we can do for ourselves as much as we can, right? I hope you liked this video. I think I'll leave it at that, and I'd love to hear if that sparked some joy for you and some thoughts, some new thoughts, new ways of thinking. Let me know in the comments below or in my Facebook group, Leah's Tidying World. I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to see you back for the next one. And it would be super fun if you honored me with a support for my channel that you can give me by liking and subscribing and sharing it with your friends. Share it with somebody who you thought might have needed to hear this. And I'd love to hear your subscriptions, and I'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Remember to take it slow just sometimes. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Which won't be too slow to hit you again. See you then. Bye! P.S. I always do these little afterthoughts, but also it is about being able to say afterwards that it was worth it. Worth spending this money. Because you savored it at the moment of eating this so much that it really was worth it. So that we don't need something at every other corner and every other moment and all the time. Be it food or be it, things we buy for ourselves. Like purchases like clothing or items in general. Well, clothing would be a whole kind of conversation for itself, but who's to say that we are not good enough the way we are? Like, of course, if you feel like you don't look cute enough, if you don't also buy this shirt and that shirt and this trouser and this skirt, like, it makes us usable in a way by big brands that profit on making more sales, And is that really what we would want for our lives? But I think I would leave that either for another video or just a little nudge in the right thought direction for now, because it'd be a whole conversation for itself. But what is going on with our confidence and our self-esteem, our self-worth, if we don't feel like we can allow ourselves to maybe wear something simple, for example? Like, what is going on with that? Since when do you feel like you're not enough? Since when are we not enough as human beings? Just because, it's a simple piece, so what? Like, it can still be beautiful, and then it becomes about the person in the garment, not the garment. And like, isn't there also a part of you that really misses that? Maybe from your childhood, maybe from back whenever you did feel like it was enough or you were enough. I think these are thoughts very much worth thinking about, and these are choices all of us make for our lives, and a lot of times they're so subconscious that we don't even realize we're making them. And allowing somebody else so much leeway is questionable when it comes to these big brands who make money off of more and more sales. What kind of sale is that to base that on? Not having the confidence to wear something that you've already worn or that looks simple. I mean, there isn't really anything wrong with that. And for so many years during my lifetime, so many various different people have made me feel, and the general consensus, I should say, because they probably got it off whomever else. But in a way, I don't feel like that excuses their behavior to hurt someone else like me, but you know, they have made me feel like it's not good enough, and that's what should be questionable, not our style choices like all the time. I mean, looking pretty is fun and awesome. Fashion is fun, and you know, knowing how to dress for your body shape to bring the best out of you or things like that, this is knowledge I appreciate, but it shouldn't, a person's worth shouldn't be defined by what they wear. Like, it just shouldn't. A person's worth shouldn't be defined over that. The worth is already there, and then comes the clothing. There could be a lot more said about that, but I will go back to my goodbye, which I've already mentioned. And I would love to hear what other thoughts you have to share about the subject. And we'll be sure to check back in with the comment section, and I'll see you soon. Bye! PPS. Let me know what your clothing experience is. Have you had any similar experiences like this, and how have they played out for you? And have you found that space for yourself where you feel comfortable with you yet, or is it a journey that takes time anyway? And you know, what's been happening for you? Or do you love clothing? I mean, clothing, I love clothing. Fashion is fun, and in our world we are kind of very fashion orientated in some way compared to maybe medieval times or something. But yeah, like I said, the worth of a human being should already be there before any of this comes into play or question. So, or have you recently savored the moment and eaten something slowly? I probably made the mistake of letting it go slightly cold now, so, but it's not too bad. I will get back to it in a second. Yeah, let's hear what's going on in those regards in your life, and I'll see you soon, speak to you soon. Bye bye. Here you go. This is the light I meant. Yeah, now it's right. So ready. And what's this guy doing? Hi there. Also taking his or her time. Free as a bird, because they can.